Hello, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Black Flag podcast, presented to you by War Dance Comics. I am Mike, the owner, creator, and writer of the upcoming comic book issues.
And I am Snoots, co-creator and artist for the same comic. Today, we have a quick episode for you. We will be covering an article done by Bleeding Fool. It is titled Indie Comics Showcase 101 Hybrids, Issues, and Tribulation Task Force.
We are very excited about this.
Extremely.
This is the closest we've come to being actual legit highlighted professionals.
Very excited. So, as much as I would like to cover the other creators, we just want to highlight issues. Fantastic coloring. For
the record, I did actually read through the entire article, and the other ones actually do look pretty badass. There's the Tribulation Task Force I thought was actually pretty neat as well, just being that in today's climate, essentially, you know, calling out anything even remotely Christian or anything of that nature, or claiming anything like that, tends to be kind of a hot topic. And this one is brave. Well, not fucking stunning and brave. It's braving that specific genre, and you know, kudos to people that will do that. To be honest, in the spitting in the eye of horse shit fucking modern society,
indeed,
and sticking to what they know and love, and something that's actually dear to their heart, and that's great. That's completely admirable. So by all means, read about the other guys as well. Look into this this article, because it's a pretty decent article, and there's good little interviews in it. Mm-hmm. But we're shilling our stuff today, so this is what we're doing.
Yeah. Bleeding Fool got back to us, and they did a nice interview with Mike. And
that's me.
Yes. And as it says, an epic story where heroes are heroic again, where men are masculine and women are sexy. We want you to feel for our characters, to cheer them on through their hardships and root for them in battle. Most of all, we want you to have fun. So we designed this comic to be a parody of sorts. Think It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and Venture Brothers meets Super Friends. No one is safe. Might as well learn to laugh.
And that's probably the easiest way for us to describe it too. So I say all the time that the story itself it does get very serious. There are a lot of serious elements through the entire thing, but comics to me, I think, are supposed to be entertaining. So you got to take the good with the serious as well, the fun with the serious. And as she pulls up the bikini clad ladies.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a lot of humor and dark humor as well. So it's a lot like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and which is one of our favorite shows, and Venture Brothers, which is
also
brilliant, absolutely fucking brilliant writing. If you haven't checked either of those shows out, where the fuck have you been? Watch those fucking shows. They are amazing. Venture Brothers has been one of my favorite shows for a long time, but just the way that they can take something that is completely satire and complete parody, but actually tell an original story, is really what we're wanting to do here. So it's a lot in that same kind of vein as far as being parody. But there is a lot of actual serious stuff in there too.
Yeah, it's been 7 years in the making. Somebody asked us yesterday if we needed ideas or something like that. No, we've got the whole story laid out from arc 1 to the final issue, the final book 3. We have everything lined out. But this comic was created for fans, by fans, and we keep on saying that, and that's really the best summary.
We sound like broken records actually saying these things here, because it's a big part of the sales pitch, really, because when you're doing this, when you're doing these interviews and everything, you're trying to sell, you know, you're trying to sell your product, and there's so much intertwined story being told here, so it's really hard to say anything without it being any type of a spoiler.
Oh yeah.
But really, because we are trying to do this with fans in mind. And one of the big things that I think is a really cool thing that creators are doing, where they're saying that you can get drawn into the comic. I think it's amazing. But again, these creators are professionals. They've been at it for a long time, and a lot of that is it's a lot more expensive. And a lot of people, like, when we were younger, we didn't have the money to be able to do that. But I know myself anyway. I used to dream of being part of it, or having my character be in a comic or something of that nature. And that's, for us, we're kind of trying to pay it back. We're trying to give that to the fans. However, we actually did a show with Raging Golden Eagle, and one of the comments, as I was watching through just to make sure we didn't completely fucking destroy ourselves on there, I was watching through, and on the comments, someone says that it sounds like they are possibly creatively bankrupt on that sense. And I was like, oh god damn, I would have totally covered that if I had seen that comment, but there was a lot of people talking. That is absolutely not the case. We want people in there. We want your character, whatever it is, like, I'll put you in as best I possibly can. But this is a pre-existing story. This is a pre-existing world. Everything is already, it's done, as far as, like, we already have the framework. We already know what's going to happen. The ideas are all there.
Yeah.
My philosophy with it, which I guess is probably the way that I will say it from now on, is that we already know what's going to be drawn. We already know what's going to be written. And we're already going to do it. So these other characters, instead of just having them be just, mindless fucking characters that we come up with, they're already going to be drawn in. Why not have it be a fan? Why not have it be someone who has always seen themselves, or always wanted to see themselves in a comic, and someone who's given us money, essentially. Like, you've paid for it. Why not have a little nod in there, So, cameo tier, you can be a background character. Speaking tier, you can be an actual character, but that's not because we don't have the ideas. And we could just draw random ass people, but we want them to have meaning. We want these citizens to be reflective of our fans.
Yeah.
So that's us giving back. It's not us not having the idea.
Yeah. So, and as the article says, Chris asks, tell your readers your elevator pitch for Issues Volume 1. Briefly tell your readers what's up. And that's so fucking hard.
It is. Like, it really is.
Issues is so involved, and like we keep saying, we have everything lined out, and we only have, this is only Volume 1. So it's just like, how do you summarize not only a whole series, but summarize without spoiling Volume 1?
That so and the fact hard. That, like, we talk about it being like a parody and a satire. There's a lot of things we make fun of, ourselves mostly, actually. we rag on our own little fucking.
You can't make fun of someone if you can't make fun of yourself. Yeah,
exactly. So we can have a full pitch, scripted and written out or whatever, that we just repeat and regurgitate. We can have a full pitch talking about it strictly as just being like a comedy. Like, hey, it's essentially Always Sunny in Philadelphia with superheroes. And you can pitch this entire story like that. But then you can also have an entire pitch that's serious. Like, this is a story of a superhero who, he was blamed for killing his team and he had to retire, but, that was the best thing that he had ever done, and that hurts him. So you see him kind of coming back from that. Or this is a special agent who's trying to find out what happened to her dad. That these are serious tones, and you can have an entire pitch like that. But it's both of those things. So it's really hard to pick which topic, essentially. There's a lot of things that are being covered in it. It's been worked on for 7 years, and we're happy with it. We're very excited to be bringing it to life. And yeah, it's hard to blend those certain genres together and have it be organically done. And I'm obsessed with things happening organically. So there's actually a lot of things we wanted to do that we don't, because it just doesn't fit in correctly. It just seems like it was shoved in there just because, and we don't want to do that, but that's also why it took 7 years to do,
yeah. So the best answer that we could give Chris was, absolutely. Issues is a powerful character study wrapped in satire and dark humor. We follow a group of veteran superheroes as they learn to become a team, and the young special agent assigned to oversee them. Looking Deeper is a much larger story of family, loss, and redemption, told over the course of 3 volumes. It is both a love note to comic fans and our way of giving back to the heroes we've looked up to for decades. As he was saying,
Yeah.
everything, like, we can delve into so much,
There's so much.
but whenever you summarize it, it just sounds super vague. It's really hard to give it justice without spoiling anything. At the same time, being brief, it's a hard line to tote.
This has been our baby for so long, and me as a writer, I have put my brain through so much getting this to all function properly, exactly fine-tuned the way that I want it to where now, like, there's nothing done for no reason. Nothing is being left out. It's every time I try to explain it, I end up feeling like I didn't do it justice. I end up feeling like I left something out, you know, and that's really difficult for me. So that was probably the absolute best way I could have pitched it.
Oh yeah, and you briefly covered on the next question was, is this your first work as a comic creator? Tell me what led to this. And it really is 7 years of just ironing out the story, getting rid of the fat, and just making sure that it's just a solid story. And it's really hard to do that justice. 7 years of work in just an elevator pitch. It's really hard to talk about that.
Right.
So what is War Dance Comics? Does that have any special meaning for you? And it
oh, just read it.
You're gonna be disappointed in the story, though. It's more of an inside joke, if anything. Snoots? Me. My artist loves ferrets and loves ferrets. When ferrets play, it's called a war dance. I'm Native American, which I guess would apply as well. Anyway, we had a couple names in mind, but war dance was the only one that really stuck, so we just rolled with it. I wish I could say there was some cooler, deeper meaning to it, but it's really just the two of us being dorks. And it really is.
It really is. We had a couple other names that we were thinking of doing in the first place, but War Dance is, because this is like, we love it. It's work. It's long, hard days, but we have fun with it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, the whole War Dance thing with, weasels playing and all that, it just kind of stuck. So it was like, it almost became like an inside joke in the first place. Like, yeah, we're going to call ourselves this till we think of a real professional name. And we fucking didn't. So it just became War Dance Comics.
Tell us a little more about the project. What kind of comic fans do you expect this comic will entertain the most? So Mike kind of goes into a summary, which we already said. It's so fucking hard to summarize this. But at the end, he really delves into, man, I could be here all day if I actually dove into everything we have in store.
Yeah.
We have so much thought and heart put into the story. And like I said before, this is a love note to fans. We're very serious about that. And in our commitment to the fans and customer engagement, it plays a huge part in bringing this world to life. And it's really the kind of fans that we want to put into this. It's comic fans. Like, it's not any specific group. It's just, it's for fans. Like, I don't know how else to describe it other than, like, who is this movie for? Well, people who want to go to the movies and have a good time. Like,
yeah, it's for people who fucking love movies, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with the Expendables, it's like, what is this movie for? People who like action movies.
Yeah.
Like,
it is an action movie by action movie fans for action movie fans. Definitely.
Yeah. So with Issues, it's a superhero comic for comic fans. If you don't like comics, then
yeah. There's a lot of we've had discussions about how characters and heroes are deconstructed. And initially what we thought when we first were doing this is that we were deconstructing characters to explain kind of how they would be human wise. But then what it ended up actually evolving into being was the characters that we have now in comics, they're already deconstructed. Everyone's already done that. So we are reconstructing these characters. We're taking these characters And they are like, most of them are they're veterans. They have been heroes for a long time. They've already gone through those hardships, and now they're coming together and they're picking themselves back up. They're cleaning themselves back up, dusting themselves back off, because now the world truly needs real heroes again. So they are reconstructing their personalities, their powers, and everything. We're reconstructing their what the fuck was I saying?
Their personality, their powers.
Yeah, we're reconstructing previously deconstructed heroes to bring them back to actually be like our Superman character, to be that the thoroughly powerful Boy Scout that he's supposed to be. Our Flash character to be an actual like overpowered speedster, and really look into what these powers can really do and show that, like really go all out with it.
It's like we keep saying, it's for fans by fans, and I've put my foot in my mouth a few times. Like, personally, I'm not a huge fan of Superman, but
all the time.
Our co-creator, a friend who pitches it, he absolutely loves Superman. So he brought up a lot of points of why people love Superman and what's amazing about that character, and what happens when shitty writers get a hold of him. And that's usually what I end up hating about him, is the shitty writers that get popular and end up selling. And we do that with like the hardware hero archetype. Like how Batman's a complete narcissist and just like, okay, he may be a hero, but he's a shitty human being. So let's just outline all of these different archetypes. What are the pros? What are the cons? We're not ripping anybody off. We're just honestly just looking at the characters for what they could be. Let's put shitty writers aside. Let's put the one-off great comic aside. These characters as a whole, what would that actually look like in this just one situation? And it's not us overtly shitting or praising on any particular characters. After talking about these archetypes for so long, they developed personalities of their own.
Yeah, they legitimately had evolved. Like we took how would that character act if he had powers of a god for his entire life and was raised a certain way by certain people? How would he actually act? Yeah, he would be kind of that Superman Boy Scout, but there would be other things underlying as well. Yeah. So we added that, instead of diving so far into that's been done 1,000 times. We added that to his personality, and he became his own person.
Yeah. And what if you have second legacy heroes who not only had their powers their whole life, but their reputation is pre-existing. They're riding the coattails of their parents. What would that look like? And what would it look like if people get powers halfway through their life? If they got it accidentally and despise their powers, or they run with it and they choose to be the hero they're called to be? What would those two different situations look like? What happens when you're thrown in the world of heroes without powers? And are you going to be a complete asshole?
Yeah, exactly.
Or are you going to rise above and say, fuck it, and roll your sleeves up and actually fucking do it? Each one of those situations is completely explored in the issue story arc. That's really, in essence, our characters.
And there's a monkey.
And there's
a monkey.
And a monkey.
Which again, I've actually, not to spoil anything, but I've said numerous times on other podcasts and things we've been on, is that even the monkey sidekick, which he is supposed to be a monkey sidekick, even the monkey sidekick actually has like a compelling backstory, and we've written an actual like legit character arc for him as well.
I fucking love the monkey.
So everyone does go through this metamorphosis of being these the heroes, the deconstructed heroes, to being true superheroes.
Yeah.
And that's the entire story. We're showing that over these 3 volumes. We're showing the metamorphosis and the reconstruction of these heroes.
Yeah. Just a side note, I think most of my favorite little jokes and gags happen around that monkey. I think he's legitimately one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like him. I like the rivalry that he has. I like that
flipping him off.
So on the left there we have our hardware hero archetype, He calls himself the Standard. That's the one that everyone keeps saying looks exactly like Nightwing, which, yes, I know he does at first glance, but he's not, and you'll see in the comic. But how he is supposed to be, much like a Batman type of character, where Batman is the best of the best. He's the smartest and the most talented. Yeah. So we're taking that type of a character, but because he is so much of a narcissist and he's so far up his own ass, he doesn't understand the irony, essentially, that his main rival would be this monkey, this monkey sidekick, who the monkey itself is super intelligent. So he's also a smug little asshole too. But they have this rivalry with each other.
Where it's like, you are the most powerful, non-powered human being, and your rival is a goddamn monkey.
Exactly. And you just can't get over it because he can't get over himself, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's little little intricacies that we have put in there for each one of their personalities. And I thoroughly enjoyed the clashing, essentially, between Standard and Bafo.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's great.
So the next question is, tell us about your creative team, or if there are any other creators that contributed to this. And Mike went on to say, it is mostly just the two of us, which is probably our biggest challenge, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I am the owner, creator, writer, and editor. Snoots, is the artist, co-creator, and colorist and letterer. We have two friends, Chris Meadows and Matt Vorderstrass, which are Haste and Lux, roughly based on, who are on call as far as writing consultant and art consultant, respectively. They are actually the fellow dorks who helped us brainstorm this in the first place. Matt studied under Andy Kubert, so he really knows his shit. Aside from that, we have two friends helping us on social media. Christina is covering our Instagram, and Jegs is in charge of our Twitter, because Twitter is cancer. As far as actual production, though, it's just the two of us, so it's very much a labor of love, and it is. I'm a massive pain in the ass to work with, and I will admit that. I'm a millennial piece of trash. So, honestly, a lot of, during the 7 years of him writing, it was me trying to not have this comic look like a Tumblr dumpster fire, learning how actual comic creators create panels, how it's actually supposed to be inked and colored, and what is the proper, not necessarily like what is the modern standard, but just like, how do you present things in a professional manner? How are things correctly going to be printed, and resolution and character creation, all that nonsense. Perspective's a massive pain in my ass. And then we have Mike over here, who he is a writer, but he never had to work on a team before, so he's having to learn how to vocalize and collaborate and not just tell me, make it better.
Not fucking scream at everybody.
Oh man, we need to like throw clips in here of like, I did not hit her.
I did not hit her.
Hi, Mom. Shit like that.
Anyway.
But that's
this isn't about me.
This is really the creative process like that. Or where did you learn that? I learned it from you.
I learned it from watching you.
So yeah, like I think Mike eloquently said it once, where it just our days consist of, all right, it's gonna be a great day, let's get to work. We start working, we pass each other at work, and then someone ends up yelling, someone ends up crying, and then we drink and we have dinner and we watch our shows and we go to bed.
Yeah.
That is our day in, day out, our routine.
Yeah.
No, we're getting better.
We are. It's funny to think about, and that is kind of how it works. But also, this is over the course of 10 to 12 hours. Essentially, we work very long days, and any other creators out there who might be listening to this can probably agree that it does get frustrating when you're doing the tedious stuff. There's a lot of really fun stuff going into creating a comic, but there's a lot of really tedious little things that you have to do, little boxes you have to check. And that can kind of weigh on the soul after a while.
Yeah.
So it gets a little disheartening when you have these days of we worked for so long and it feels like we got nothing done,
Yeah.
you know? And I just kind of keep my mind on our goal. You know, I keep
Yeah.
the once we like we'll brainstorm sometimes and we'll talk about, oh yeah, and then this scene's gonna be like this, and you remember when he does this, and I get all ramped back up because I do love this story and I can't wait for it to come out. I can't wait for it to get out. It's so involved, and I don't think it's actually anything that we've gotten really anything like it for at least for a long time. I haven't seen anything. It's set up like a big event like Crisis was. It's a big event that involves the entirety of the superhero universe that we've created, and it starts off small, and that's just like volume 1 is just the wheels starting to turn, and then it becomes this big massive event, and you're just kind of along for the ride on it. And we've cut out so much fat on it to where now it's like nothing can be taken for granted. There's no wasted movements in this. Every little thing that happens, well, it may seem weird or kind of obscure at that point in time, but then come the third volume, be like, holy shit. Oh yeah, you remember when he did this? You know, so there's shit like that in there, and I can't wait for it, because even like I don't even think I'll be happy like once the first volume comes out, because it's setting up so much more shit that I'm just gonna be so antsy to get back to it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely, I wouldn't say it's a problem, but it's like it's something that people need to think about when it comes to creating, because you always have to be willing to rework something, and having a vision in your head as a writer, and then having someone turn around and may or may not complete that vision, like having to collaborate with somebody and knowing there's all these nuances that need to go into something. There's a lot of work people don't realize that goes behind these kind of things. And I think one reassuring thing that I have personally is watching these creators create, and like hearing them talk about like getting rejected however many times before they finally did something, going off and starting their own company and saying fuck it, and like just doing their own thing, and just all the hard work that goes into it. Our friend Matt reminds me every other time I get in a slump, where you're gonna make 1,000 really shitty drawings before you make like the one good one. So just keep on working at it, sketch it out. And one thing I have to remind Mike, and he actually is the one who told me about this, the Todd McFarlane one, where it's just like sometimes
everything that you create, those are your kids, those are your babies, but you need to understand that sometimes you're going to have some ugly ass kids. And I think he probably puts it the best way with that, is that, yeah, we do treat everything we do, we treat it with there's so much love that goes into this. Even like figuring out the art style, like, you know, looking at it right now, this is one of my favorite pages. It's the first appearance of Haste. And this is my favorite character that we've done, hands down. And I love his character. I love his arc, and I love the person that he's based on. I love him like a brother. And I'm so proud to have this come out. But you look at it and it can seem like it's very kind of sterile almost. But even that was an actual design choice of us, of how we want the city to look, how we want this world to look, where it is this very clean, very beautiful, you know, you want to show these shots of like the open air and everything to actually give it like this feeling of bright, like positivity.
Everything's open and spread out. It's on the West Coast versus the East Coast, and the East Coast, for people who love like the towers looming in the city and stuff, like you have to walk from point A to point B, and it's like 2 blocks away, everything's in a tower. Versus the West Coast, everything is spread out.
Yeah, things
everything
are a lot
is
more
flat.
spread out. So this is it's a city that we've developed, that we've designed. It's based on a few different West Coast cities, and one of them that I was born and raised in. And I wanted to show that there's just a different feeling to it. And there's a lot more, aside from, say, San Francisco, that's an absolute fucking armpit. But when you go to, like, say, my hometown, Monterey, it does feel just cleaner. Like the air feels a little cleaner. You have a little bit of that salty that saltiness from the ocean. And so to me, when I picture the city, when I picture like him right now, and he's yelling at his nemesis, they're having this superhero battle. And I feel like there you have that little bit of a cool breeze and that little bit of that salty air going on while they're having this battle. And to me, like I want to kind of convey that, where things feel a little bit more open and a little bit more clean. So we designed our city that way. And I want it to be, it, you know, obviously is not going to be the next Gotham, but like how Gotham and Metropolis have, they have that feeling, and they kind of become their own character almost. That's how we wanted our city in this. So the art style reflects that, the backgrounds and everything reflects that everything is kind of this big open clean area, and it's just supposed to feel a little bit more positive, because I don't think there's enough real positivity in comics. And
I feel like a great comparison for how Mike functions, so you guys can understand how people can relate. When you watch Monk, it takes place in San Francisco. And he has OCD to the crippling point. And everything's just gross, and he doesn't want to touch anything. And if he does, he has to use a wet wipe, and it's just like, ew, it's grimy. Yeah. Fuck this, get me anywhere else. I just want to be home. Yeah. And then you watch Psych, and it's in Santa Barbara, and everything's just awesome. And it's just like, the food's great, the people are great. I'm just going to fuck with people and have a great time. That's Mike. Mike is Monk in San Francisco, and Mike is Sean in Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
They're both on the West Coast, but it's just, we're trying to get more of that feeling of open and fun, and just
there needs to be a brighter positivity with this story, because even though with how dark this story will get, it's supposed to be a positive, encouraging story. That's why we want to bring back these classic superhero archetypes and actually show them being those larger than life, you know, like how Hayes is there with his hand on his hip, and he's like, you know, they're doing that "fear not, citizens," like that kind of a thing.
Fucking goober.
It's dorky classic goober bullshit, but I don't know, we need more of that, especially in today's day and age. We need a lot more of that kind of positivity from our heroes.
Yeah, and hell, even our trailer, a lot of people don't get it, and we were kind of shocked by that. But just like issues, it kind of gets dark at some point. So I guess you can call it, excuse me, I guess you can kind of call it adult humor. So our trailer was originally like BoJack inspired.
Yeah,
like if BoJack walks up to the set and is like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do this one and done, perfect."
In the actual spirit of our comic kind of, it makes fun of itself. You know, It makes fun of the ridiculousness of the classic heroes and whatnot, but still having them heroes. So a trailer that we did, we were like, let's have a trailer that makes fun of itself. Let's have it be like, it's actually telling us, you know, what's actually happening, but it's a parody of even being a trailer.
Yeah.
That's all. I don't know if that's just
of like how
too fucking big brained or like, what, but I thought it was funny.
It's in the same heart of like how BoJack is. It's made by people who live in Hollywood, who are voice actors or actors and stuff like that, and all the bullshit they have to deal with, and they just made a show about it.
And BoJack makes fun of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the insanity that is Hollywood and the people in it. So Issues trailer is that.
Hello? Yep, it's good. Flick. All right, it's working. We're doing a trailer for a comic? How does that work? All right, whatever. In a world marred by personal politics, where heroes have been reduced to a novelty, one team of superpowered misfits will set out to right the wrongs of their pasts, and once again, remind the world what it truly means to be a hero. A young special agent assigned to investigate a god, searching for the truth of her father's death. The hell's going on here? The most powerful being ever known, hoping to regain the trust of the country he loves, accused of murder, best friends trying to maintain a sense of justice under the eye of an easily manipulated public. Cavalier twins trying to honor the legacy of their fallen parents. ... and a monkey? The hell is this garbage? Issues. Volume 1. Only on IndieGoGo. Nailed it.
Yep. I like it. I think it's fun.
I know.
Because, again, that trailer is just... Yeah, it is vague, but, again, it's so hard to dive into things without spoilers.
Yeah. So that's our joke trailer. So maybe we'll, like how I said, you can easily do 2 completely separate pitches for this same story and have it totally work. So that's a joke one. Maybe we'll, do a serious trailer. Maybe we'll end up doing a serious one. I don't know. No?
Like book 2, we're gonna do, I don't know.
Yeah, have Ken come back and do the voice for another one.
Yeah.
And have him be a little bit more worn down.
Get him super drunk this time.
So.
But yeah, this was it was a fun little interview, right?
Yeah, it was. I honestly thought we were gonna read the interview, but I guess we'll put a link in the description. And if you guys would like to read the interviews, you totally can. And again, like I said, look into the other comics as well, because those ones actually look pretty great too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that the other one on there was Hybrids, wasn't it?
Believe
Go
so.
all the way up?
Well, it says in the title, it's Hybrids issue.
Yeah.
Tribulation
And see,
Headquarters.
Hybrids was oh wow, we're actually sandwiched between 2 biblically themed comics.
Interesting.
Yeah. Hybrids is another one. It deals with the Nephilim.
Oh.
Yeah. So pretty neat.
Yeah.
Ours is not biblically themed. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It just isn't. It's
it's us themed.
Yeah, it's more
it's not self-insert.
fans and heroes themed.
Yeah.
Not wanting to bring any personal politics or anything into it.
But yeah, our campaign is just shy of the $3,000 mark, and we have 2 weeks left, and I don't know, we're just wanting to throw it out there as much as possible.
Yep.
Try to.
Well, we will be going in demand into it as well, so there's still plenty of time. It's just the initial campaign has 2 weeks left on it.
Yeah, and we have so many perks to get yourself into the comic.
Yeah.
And we just really want fan interaction.
We do. We want to see.
Oh, where is it?
We want fans to be able to see themselves in the comic, and be immersed in that again.
So this one have a speaking role. It's only $75, and that includes the book and your
your cameo. Yeah.
And it's not just like a one-off, like, oh my god, like you have an actual fucking line. You have dialogue.
Yeah, this is I can't stress this enough. It's not just, because we ran out of ideas. We're already going to draw people in the damn thing anyway. It might as well all be representative of, people that want to be in it.
Yeah.
Not just, some fucking schmuck. I mean, we'll draw schmucks all day, but if you want to be in it, we'll draw you instead.
And we also have Appear in the Comic, which is $50, and it's also includes the book with a cover of your choice, and you get to be forever a citizen in this world where I used to play a game when I lived in a small town, and it was every time I went to the grocery store.
Stick and hoop.
Yeah,
stick and hoop down a dirt path.
Yes. But when I went to the grocery store, it was see which 3 people I knew, and I would never fail. I would see 3 or more people that I knew at the store. At least see them, even if I didn't talk to them. It was a small enough town where it's like, yep, I'm gonna at least recognize 3 people in the grocery store alone. 20 minutes. So whenever you're in just a closer knit community, you're
Yeah.
gonna see the same people over and over again. So when we say you're gonna appear in the comic, you will be in the comic.
Yeah, we're trying to. We built this city. This is not based on a real city. Well, it's not. It is not a real city. But we built this city on rock and roll, actually.
God damn
I
it.
believe. And we're trying to fill it, and have its citizens essentially be fans. So even this basic one, just the basic cameo appear in the comic for $50. It's not like 1 or 2 panels. It's not like just kind of this looks vaguely like you. It will be you and be like, hey, like if your name is, John Smith or whatever, be like, that's John Smith. He's a citizen of this city. Like that's what it is. You live there now.
Yeah.
So pack your shit.
Pack your shit, you're moving to San Huron.
Yeah, San Huron. Or Huron. Yeah.
Yeah. And we have Fight a Hero, which people are really digging. Also,
Yeah, there's only
the book.
5 of those left. There's only 5 of those left.
Yep.
Um,
Which I'm actually surprised this is more popular than the basic one.
Well, because the pitch to it. So this is actually one where the person was like, well, they're just maybe they're just running out of ideas or whatever. And no, it's not. So there's already this became something a lot more than it was supposed to be in the first place, because there's already scenes that I have written out for fight scenes. There's these big fight scenes and whatnot, and I'm like, okay, well, a lot of these have multiple villains in them. So I'm like, all right, cool. I can make probably 10 villains throughout the comic look like a reader. That's all that was supposed to be. Is this guy here, he's coming out, he's fighting with the guy, and he's gonna get fucking punched in the mouth and arrested or thrown off a building or some shit. That's already going to happen, but we can totally make it look like this guy. And his powers can be, vaguely A, B, or C, right? So it was supposed to essentially be, send us a picture of your face and pick one of these powers for this thing, or like, here's the powers that I have left. But on the actual on IndieGoGo, you can't write all that. So I didn't actually put all of that in there. So then we had people start buying it and go, oh man, I'm going to turn into a bear, but I can also breathe fire. And I'm like, well, fuck. But
my ice powers come out of my ass.
Yeah, exactly. So some of them are ridiculous. Some of them are actually serious. And I thought that was neat. And I'm totally open for all of it, because it is still, kind of a dark comedy as well. So whatever you end up wanting to do is great, as long as it's not like Omega level, like world ending powers kind of thing, because, you're not going to win. So, but it became a little bit more. So then my customer service side and my fan service side kicked in, and I'm like, you know what? All right, challenge accepted. I bet I can make that work. So it's not that we didn't have the idea. We already had the idea, but I am trying my hardest to incorporate these other fans' ideas as well, as best I can. If it doesn't work out, I apologize, but in all honesty, you got a really good deal to be in there and to be an active character as well. I'm not gonna change what we have written out to something completely inorganic. I won't do that, but if I can incorporate people's different ideas that they have as well, just because, fucking, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? If we're already gonna draw it and it adds, an extra couple panels or whatever, a little bit more dialogue and just kind of work it in, fine. That's totally fine, because you know what? That's you guys' hard-earned money, and we respect that. Everything anyone puts towards this is supporting us, while we sit around and follow our dream, essentially. So why not make it as close to your dream as possible? That's my philosophy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one, I loved Mike's idea with this one. It's your child's art featured, and it's fan art, and it's included in the story. And like he said, he already has these scenes laid out and stuff. And I think it would be a great gift where you have that kid that wants to be involved and loves comics and loves the lore and stuff like that. If they end up doing fan art, they can be forever memorialized in this story. And I think that's really fantastic idea.
This is, I I really do have a as much of an asshole as I am. I really do have a heart for kids, and I have a heart for fans. And I remember being that kid, you know, and like growing up super broke and, you know, dreaming of bigger, better, more crazy, extravagant things. And like, what little kid wouldn't want to be, you know, wouldn't want heroes in a comic talking about them and, you know, having their art featured or anything like that. And so I thought of something. It was just some like little daydream thing that I had way back in the day. And I'm like, you know what? That would blow some little kid's mind, man. It's either like, you know, they look up to their, you know, parents, and their parents are comic fans or whatever, and they're wanting to get into it, and that's something that, you know, the parent can do for them. Or that it's maybe not as much of a comic fan, and this is going to be the comic that makes them a fan. You know, all of us that are comic fans, we all had that one comic that was just like, wow, yes, this is what's up. This is what's going to do it. And that is something you're never going to forget. I want this to happen for some kid. If we can reach at least one little kid and just totally make their day, just totally blow their mind, it's something they can show their kids later on. I totally want to do it. It's not hard at all for us to do. We already have it thought of, and I want to extend that to someone. If they want to, you know, be mother or father of the year and do something like this for their kid, fuck yeah, man. I will absolutely do that. Let's blow your kid's mind. We'll do a special little mention for them and everything in there as well. And it's not just the first volume.
Or aunt and uncle of the year. I mean,
yeah, exactly. It just,
I don't
you know,
have
whoever,
kids, but I
I'm all about it. I'm all about it, man. Let's give back to the next generation of fucking dorks.
Yeah.
You know, let's raise up that next generation of dorks, man. Because we, with our day and age, we need a lot more happy dorks. We really do. And that's what the spirit behind this is. You know, that one kid who lucked out and got in there. And it's something that is guaranteed to be featured in all 3 volumes. It's something that's guaranteed to be brought up and mentioned. And you'll like it. It'll blow your kid's mind. It will.
And I want to clarify on this one. Video chat and
video.
Yeah, it's okay. So, like we said, we have the story lined out, but
correct.
This video chat essentially pays for you doing your own elevator pitch and being like,
exactly.
Hey, I want to do this in a comic. I want to do this in issues. And if it works, cool. We'll incorporate it. If it doesn't, that's what the video chat's for. Instead of just like a Hail Mary email and be like, hey, I want to include this in issues. You get the time to talk to us and actually like flesh out what would work, what wouldn't work. How is this going to be in the comic?
Exactly. So this is very much a we have people that go, I want a speaking role, I want to fight a hero or anything like that. And even the fight a hero is what, 135, something like that?
125.
Fight a hero, 120. All right, so we have people doing that and going, hey, I want it like this and this. And they pitch this whole scene, and I'm like, I really want to do that for you, but I can't. Because, I mean, that shit's already written out. It was already supposed to be like a big street brawl and not, you know, some big existential fucking moment. So I'm sorry, I can't do that. It's not making fun of anyone's idea, but it's like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. In all honesty, this tier here was supposed to be what did away with that. It's not just that you get to talk to the creators, but we would do a full on like, hey, we're going to do a video chat. Same thing we're doing right now, essentially. We'll talk together and go, okay, you know, what's your deal? What's your the hero or the villain you want to be or the character you want to be. And this is you having a chance to actually pitch out a scene that you have with your character. It interacts with, you know, someone in our universe or our team or whatever, right? And us working that out with you and being like, this is a real like behind the scenes inside thing. So we go, okay, cool. I see what you got there. We have this scene where this and this happens. We can probably work it into there. And you go, all right, that's awesome. How about this? And then also with the dialogue, you would get to write out essentially, what would you say in response? What would you like to say? What would you like to see? And we'll work that in there organically. You're paying $200 to work with the creators and work out and pitch a scene that we all agree on, that we're all like, oh yeah, this is going to be awesome. and we will draw that out. We'll put that in there. This is one where you can have a speaking role or fighting a hero or anything like that, whatever it is you want to do. And if you backed those other tiers, even if it's relatively, involved, you're only adding like maybe, a couple extra panels or maybe a page if I have to do that. With this one, you're possibly adding a whole scene that we will work out with you to where it's like, well, we will tell you if we can or can't work it out with the ideas that we have, but we'll work out a scene with you to where that could be a couple pages that you're featured on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a big
or if
deal.
it's like a small little side story or something like that.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
it's like a reoccurring thing or whatever the hell your idea is, that guarantees the time that we can set aside from making the comic to actually spend on you instead.
Correct.
Because
so this
time is money,
more,
man.
Yeah, exactly. This is a lot more than, like there's one with, oh man, I can't remember exactly who the creator is, but he's famous. He's been at it for a minute and he has a video chat and it's like, oh, video chat with me, for like an hour or something like that. And it's like $400 or $500. And like, that's it. So, I mean, that's really cool because you get to meet someone who maybe, might be your hero or someone that you look up to. But with this one, you are getting something out of it. It's really hard to say all of that just in IndieGoGo. So that's why we feel like we have to clarify these things. It's not just you're paying $200 for the pleasure of talking to us, because that's a waste of money.
Like all the other tiers, it includes the book. It's not just like a $200 add-on. Like you have to get the book and this.
Right.
It includes the book. It includes your part in issues. It includes our conversation. Like it's not a bunch of add-on shit. It is issues package.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. The other ones were claimed, but yeah. As far as issues go, I mean, this is it, guys. This is our blood, sweat, and tears into this shit. It's a labor of love. We've been ironing out the story for so long. We've grown as writers, as artists, and like hell, even Mike, he's a writer and he's getting involved in the art side.
I've actually learned a lot about the art side of it.
Yeah. We both hand in hand work on the thumbnails, we work on the lettering, and we do that shit together. This campaign isn't something where we're just going to take the money and go buy a Tesla. This is going to pay for our bills. This is our livelihood. No. This is our job.
This is literally, I've said it a couple times. Like we have so much set aside and so much of our savings essentially set aside to do this, that whatever we make on this it's going to support us while we finish this book and then the printing and the sending it out to you guys. And then it's going to support us while we start on the second one. Mm-hmm. So this is not a for profit kind of a thing. This is very much supporting the creation of this project. It's all going right back to you guys. It's all going right back into, making the next one and the next one after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And real quick before we sign off, I want to hit up. We'll talk about this in briefly in another video, but stretch goals. We hit our $1,000. So the spot UV covers where it just get that one little area and it's glossy and makes everything pop.
Yeah, it just makes everything look fancy.
Yeah. We unlocked that. We hit the $2,000 fan art contest, and all backers are going to be able to participate in a fan art contest. Our top picks will have their art featured as chapter breaks, not shoved in the back of the book. The top ones will be featured throughout the book. And even if you don't get the featured art, you will be included in the book. You won't be just like a thanks for participating. You will be in the back of the book. So, I mean, I've done a few contests where my art didn't make it in. I got a little butthurt about that.
Oh, yeah.
So we're, like we said, it's for fans, it's by fans for fans. So we remember all that shit. We're just like, you want to be included in the book? Be included in the book.
Yeah, be included, man. You don't have to be the best of the best or whatever. You just got to be on this ride with us.
Yeah.
And we'll make sure to hook you up.
And because it's for fans by fans, it's we're going to do trading cards after 3,000. If we hit that 3,000 goal, we're going to add trading cards to it because we've had people say trading cards. I want trading cards. We weren't going to do it, but it was requested. We're going to do it.
Yep.
4,000. If we end up making it, tell us what you want in it. We're not going to add a bunch of shit that you may not want. I'm more of a sticker collector. I like the bookmarks and stickers and stuff. Mike doesn't.
I give them to my daughter. It's not that I don't appreciate that a creator does that. It's just kind of like, well, I'm the type of guy who I bought the book to have the book, you know.
Yeah.
So if I got anything else with it, it's just because it came with it. And if that's what you guys want, then awesome. I have no problem making them. We'll do stickers and foils and fucking nudes.
We'll do
I don't give a
skateboards
shit.
or whatever the hell.
No,
But just like, it's a matter of let us know what you want. We're not going to add a bunch of shit you don't want. So tell us what you do want and we'll add it. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like we said, we spent 7 years cutting out the fat and we continue to do so. So I guess that's a great send off of, this is again, for fans by fans. It's a labor of love. I'm Snoots. This is Mike. This is our comic.
Yeah.
And we want you to be a part of it.
Yep. That's it. So until next time.